Alright, here we are at the melee weapons training ground. It's just over to the right here. And you can see we have three options: fist, hammer, and blade. And the beautiful thing about this training exercise here is that I can try out every single weapon here to my heart's content and get a feel for everything. And until I absolutely decide what I want. So let's go here. Let's start with fists weapons. We're just going to go ahead and accept the training. Of course, each time I do that, I have to pick up the item and equip it. So I have to actually go here. I'll open this up so you can see it. I have to equip everything they give me. And this, I believe, becomes your starting equipment when you leave here. This is the furthest I've gotten, so I can't really say for sure, but these items, these talismans, will all possibly be given to me. You can see when it says here like finger talisman QL0, I'm guessing that's quality level. It's again, not having done a lot of research into this game, a lot of it I'm having to find out on the fly. So what we're going to do here is, this is the fists. You can see down here I've got now a resource on my character bar. This is the fist resource. Power my fist abilities. So let's just real quick, I'll go over. And they give you a nice little training video here. And I'll go ahead and skip that though. The way they describe it though, what that training video says is, this is basically a game where you can choose many different things that you want. Now I'm going to go real quick. I'm going to go into the skills and show you what they're talking about. These are your skills that you can put skill points into. Talismans, like head talismans here, major talismans, and minor talismans. You can put points into these. These are defensive. Each armor area has just one thing to put points into. Head talismans increase magical protection. Majors, maximum health. Minor is physical protection. So you've got those. That's all well and good, but the big thing here as far as character customization comes into is in the way of your weapons. And I'm going to bring these up. I'm just going to go ahead and expand everything so you can take a look at it. Now here's the thing, because you don't have classes, you don't fall into norms as far as your character design goes. What you've got is here in melee, which you can see, and I'll show you this, what it appears to be is that melee characters will typically be your tanks. Range characters are going to be, looks like more support, some healing. And then magic can do whatever they want. The reason why I say melee seems to be the tanks is because what you can see here is each ability, each weapon has a damage category, every single one. So every single weapon has a DPS capability. Right? So if you think about the major abilities that you need to have in a party, in a MMO, you have tanks, you have damage dealers, you have healers. So everybody can be a damage dealer, obviously. And this is kind of the system that Old Republic went with. Everybody could be damage, and you had active abilities, and then you had, healing. Here you can see oddly enough, fist weaponry has healing on it. So if you're using fist weapons, you can expect to have alternate abilities of healing. And what this means is you can you can carry two weapons in this game. Haven't gotten to the point where I can do that. So that means you can alternate between each of these and increase your style of play. So you could pick up fists for healing and then pick up, a magic for support or maybe a ranged weapon. But you can see here, fists gain increases damage and healing done by your fist resource. Then you have healing, which additional healing from all sources on whatever target you heal that stacks. Blades do damage, which get additional cuts. Survivability. So survivability is your tanking aspect. When you see survivability, that means that weapon is going to be something that you're going to use for tanking. Because as you can see here, whenever an enemy attack glances you, you get 15% of the damage of it dealt back as healing. So that's a very, very much a tanking ability. And it looks like that the number in green is just the only thing that'll go up as I put points into it. Hammer damage builds up momentum. When the momentum count reaches 5, your next ability deals additional damage. So you can see there's different play styles here. Damage enemy with a blade ability, you apply 2 cuts. Attacking the enemy with a blade ability consumes its effect to deal additional damage. So even here, range can heal and be support. So you have damage for pistols. You have a 6% chance to deal additional hit for half damage. Support, deploying any pistol drone ability, your defensive target receives 2 health. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what the drone ability is. But as you can see, it says support, so that means this isn't really a primary healing ability, although it can provide healing. It's just kind of it's more than likely not as good as a pure healing class, but you can obviously give support as you want. Shotguns, point blank, you deal additional physical damage based on your proximity to the target, so shotguns are really good for close in. Support, when dealing a shotgun support ability, your defensive target takes 2.7% less damage from all sources, so you can basically buff a tank to take less damage. Assault rifles, damage as well. Abilities apply the explosive rounds effect to your enemies. Each additional hit from assault rifle increases the number of charges on the target. After 3 seconds, the charges detonate, dealing each. So that's kind of interesting. Explosive rounds that detonate over time. Oddly enough, assault rifles are also the medics, combat medics. Assault rifle leech effects are 2.85 more powerful and last 10% longer. So not exactly sure how that works out, but that's kind of interesting. And it's kind of nice to see that you get a healing on the range side. Magic is dealt with elemental, which these abilities have 25% chance to deal additional magic damage to enemies around a target within up to 5 enemies around. So elemental damages. This spec appears to be a very AoE oriented, and if you look at the support, deploying any elemental support ability, your defensive target deals 3% more damage. So elemental is very much a damage dealer, probably a damage dealer's dream. If you want to be a caster, if you want to be a mage, you are probably going to be looking to go into elemental damages, simply because you will be doing more damage in an AoE fashion, and your support will allow other characters to do more damage as well. Blood. And this is interesting because I know a little bit about blood here. It's while blood offering is active, your blood powers deal 4.5% more damage. Blood offering is this. Blood spells can use either resource or your own health pool. So you basically can empower yourself by using your own health pool and then dealing more damage. Obviously, you can avoid doing that by just building up resources and using resources, but I think it's designed mainly around that. Now, with that in mind, blood magic is also the healing spec. So you hurt yourself and yet you heal. I find that really interesting. And it looks like you have blood barriers. Whenever they expire, target of that barrier is healed. So blood is probably defensive magic. I'm thinking almost Discipline Priest from World of Warcraft. And then Chaos. Calamity. Your Chaos abilities have 10% chance to trigger the Calamity effect, dealing additional magical damage. And Survivability. So Chaos are tanks. When you evade an attack, you receive the Fleeting Fortress effect, causing the next attack to deal 18% less damage. Very interesting. A lot of these. And this is the wheel. It ties into that. We'll kind of show you here. Because I know what I'm going to ultimately want here. Let's pick up the blade. That's a lot of information to go over. I know I went through it a little quickly. So I do apologize for that. I know I talked a little fast through it as well. But there. What I wanted to really do is just kind of complete that goal so I could get my skill points here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Blade here. And I'm going to go into skill cuts. See, I can do 1 SP into that. Got 2 cuts. So here we go. As you can see, the ability for my 2 cuts goes up by 1 damage if I put another ability into it. I don't have that though. Let's go into the ability, the melee wheel here. So here's the way everything breaks down. I can hide that to the side. Deck abilities, it won't let me click that. Okay, so here's your wheel. You have ranged, melee, and magic, as I talked about just a moment ago. And these are categorized even further as you go. And so what I can do here is, let's say I can go into melee. I'll click melee. There we go. The wheel has just moved on to show me, okay, here's all your melee abilities. Melee is broken down into blade, hammers, and fists. Yet again. So let's say I want to go into blade. I'll just go ahead and click on blades. There we go. I can look further into these abilities like brandish, tip scales, forking paths, And each one of these, as you can see, costs AP to go into. If I want to go back, I just right-click. So you start off, though, here with, go back again. You start off with melee, and you can see that each one of these is kind of categorized. This is underneath blades. These are not actually just for all melee, these are only blades. So I'm going to go ahead and go into these. You can see here's my skills for this section. And it looks like it even shows you that this path is going to be better for these areas. Now, here's the truth of the matter, though. You can theoretically go into everything in this game just by playing it. I could completely fill out every single skill in this wheel. So I am not limited by my choices right now. Sure, it might take me a while, but I could get everything if I want to. And the reason, now what makes this diverse, because some people, we're talking about this in Diablo 3, when you have every ability available to you, where's your build diversity? Everybody can be everything. Well, the way this works is you can have only 7, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can only have 7 equipped actives and 7 equipped passives out of this entire skill wheel. And as you can see, there are a lot of skills here. Each one of these dots has 7 skills in it. So, as you can tell, you're going to have a very interesting choice in trying to narrow all of this down. So, like here, what could I go into? I could go into, let me see, balanced blade. Looks like I already have that. Yep. Let me see. Exposed weakness takes 2. I've already spent 1, so I can't do that. What about blade torrent? Builds 1 resource for each equipped weapon. Is a PB AoE frenzy that deals 48 physical damage. Generates a high amount of hate. So that is a high amount of hate. That's aggro. That's a tank ability right there. Can I... Interesting. Okay, so that's kind of an advanced tooltip. Affects 5 enemies, 5 meter radius around you, so I can buy it if I wish. There it is. I can pull it off, or I can just put it right back on. So, oh, okay. I can refund that. Hold on. Oh, okay. This is kind of nice. This saves me a little bit of time. If I'm don't want to just drag and drop it, I can hit equip and then select the area on the bar I want it to go. I could, if I replace another one, okay, good. It swaps them around. Very good. Can I refund? Are you sure you want to refund Blade Torrent? This will also refund any dependencies. Let's just say yes. AP. Okay. Very good. So if I go back to character skill, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick survivability here. Hit OK. As you can see, I have no skill points. So skill points are for here. Ability points are for here. I actually have, looks like 4, so I could theoretically pick, what's balance? No, not balance blade. Expose weakness. This is a passive, as you can tell by the color. Whenever you apply impaired, you gain minor penetration chance effect, which increases your penetration chance by 10% for 8 seconds. So you can buy these abilities, and it looks like I can have them refunded at any time. It looks like. Maybe not up here. Can I? Yeah. It could just be that I could have them refunded because I haven't left this menu yet. And I'd like to go ahead and try that. I have 4 ability points, so let me go ahead and buy. Put that, whoops, here. Okay, so let's go ahead and leave this menu. I kind of like the effects of that. So let's go ahead and go back into the skills now, and we'll look. Yep, I still have those, and there's my ability wheel. I can go into expose weakness, and I can refund my abilities. Alright, well, let's not go too much deeper into that, because what I want to do is now show off what each of these can possibly do. So this is the blade. Let's go into the skill. We start off with some default abilities here. With blades, you will get precision. You have a penetration chance of delicate strike that gets 10%. So that would be your first strike. You gain a 10% chance to penetrate with that first ability. And here, whenever you penetrate, you gain a heal over time effect for 11 every 5 seconds. So my primary ability gives me a chance to heal. So as you can see, with the melee weapons, just like the others, I have to actively hit it. It builds 1 resource, and it hits for 71 physical. I have my blade resource over here of 5, and I consume that with Balance Blade. It's a PB AoE. This means it's a player-based area of effect ability. It means it emanates from me as a center. Affects 5 enemies around me in a 5-meter radius. Consumes all the blade resources. And it deals 88 physical damage, and it builds 2 blade resources if my targets happen to be impaired. So I get 2 back if they're impaired. And there's that ability there. Now, I see no reason to wait for it to be full on my blade resources. See, I'm up to 5. But as you can see, it doesn't say it gives anything for consuming more than what is needed. And I'm not entirely sure why on that. So that's the blades. Let's go ahead and we're going to go into hammer now. I have to grab the hammer now. So there's blades. Let's go into hammers now. Sprint makes me lose my weapon. Okay. Back into the skills. Hold on, not skills. Can I go into really fast? Ability wheel is just in. Okay. So, hammer gets below the belt. Whenever you hit with smash, the target also becomes weakened by a single stack of the debilitated effect, which reduces all damage dealt by 3% per stack for 10 seconds, and the effect stacks up to 10 times. So what that means with hammers is you can reduce the enemy's damage by 30% with full stacks. You also get Brawler, which increases your critical power by 20%. So, hammers. Very cool. So smash, 1 resource, for each equipped weapon. A single target attack deals 71 physical. And then you can follow that up with Hell to Pay. It's a column attack, affects 5 enemies in a 4-meter wide yard. And you can see that's this here. It consumes all the resources, and it deals 89 physical damage. As you can see over here, there is the 10 stacks. All damage reduced by 3% per stack. So you're given just the basic abilities here, and you can actually go in and I can play around with more abilities. Let's go ahead and go into hammers. What else can I get? I can get Righteous Fury, that increases the critical chance of Hell to Pay. That's just a passive ability. Haymaker, as you can see here, is an ability that only costs 3 AP, but I just don't have the ability to get it. Can we find out why? It's just locked. Not entirely sure why. But over here, what can I get? I can get Grand Slam. So it builds 1 resource for each equipped weapon, a single target attack that deals 66 physical damage. If I'm hitting a weakened target, an AoE that deals 34 physical damage appears, affecting 5 enemies. Additional damage if a large amount of hate. So again, that being an aggro generating ability. So I do weaken the enemy. As you can see here, I have a weakened state, which means just by using the nature of using Smash, means that Grand Slam is going to do an AoE. So it does 66 at first, and then it's going to do that AoE. Alright, let's see. A single target attack. You know, it's kind of interesting with the way he swings it. It looks like it would be multiple targets. So let's go over here because I think I can see the AoE effect here. See there, 115. Let's fully weaken him. And there, I just saw all three of them take damage. So that's pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and try that. We'll go back to the fist weapons because I didn't fully go over those. So yeah, I can just keep swapping here back and forth on each weapon and just kind of show you all the abilities that you get here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the main abilities since they tie into passives. We have Claw, which builds 1 resource for each equipped weapon. 71 physical, so a very basic attack. And then we get Hog Wild. It's a cone effect, 5 enemies in a 5-meter long yard, and it consumes all resources. It's a blast, it does 78 physical, and gives me the Savage Sweep effect, causing the next fist resource consumer that I activate to deal 11 physical in an area around me. So that seems to be somewhat bugged, as I notice it doesn't always pop up around me here. I've got that Lick My Wounds, which is a passive I'll show. See there, it seems if I do it with only 1 resource I get it. The next resource consumer deals 11 up to 3. Alright. Let's see what else I can get. That's a passive. And you can get a healing skill. Builds 1 fist resource when used, heals the defensive target for 36, and gives them a heal over time that lasts for 5 seconds. So, no new attacks, but that's kind of cool. So, with fists, I start off with the passives of Sharp Claws. Claw also causes the target to become afflicted with a damage over time effect. So, you're doing your melee damage, and you're doing some AoE. Or, I'm sorry, some damage over time. And Lick Your Wounds. Whenever you attack, you gain a single stack of a heal over time that heals for 2 every second for 3 seconds. Up to 5 times. So that's pretty cool. You move in. So as a tank, you can constantly get yourself healed using your fist weapons. Alright, that is the melee abilities for the Secret World. Let's move on. We're going to move on to the range now.